All right, welcome back to the Podcrastinators. Today we're doing something a little different. We've done movie reviews up until this point, but we had someone reach out to us and he had got a horror story published. And he asked us to read it, and we thought, hey, why not? I mean, we do kind of reactionary content anyways, and we've not strayed away from the movie medium, so here we are.
And this is going to be part one of our Halloween special. We'll have, this will come out on October 30th. Then tomorrow we will be releasing a normal type episode for us on the new Hellraiser movie that came out on Hulu. So we're just doing something a little bit different for Halloween, I guess, as well.
Yeah, just to get in theme with the spooky season.
Exactly.
So this story is called Mona May. It is by Pierce Logan, aka Quirt, so QWERTY minus the Y poetry on Instagram.
And he does like commissions, I guess. So if anybody here is interested in getting some writing commission, he'll do it for you.
I've never heard of writing commissions before.
Me neither. But if that's something you're looking for. And it was published in the Spectre Literary Review. And yeah, so I think Connor's going to take the narrator here, and I'll be voicing all the characters.
Yep. All right, so...
Cue the scary music.
Cue the scary music. She grew so attached to that hand that no one had the heart to tell her it was no longer attached to the arm. She wore her white dress like a curtain, a moth with furry hair on her head, half filled with air. She bounced along the sidewalk, carefree. She came to William Street, her hand outstretched to open her brother's door. It was locked. Behind it, as she knocked, William rolled his eyes from exhaustion, took a deep breath, sighed, and stood from his chair where he was sealing some envelopes with wax. Whew. His pants were pinstriped and perfectly conformed to his lower body. He wore a sensible vest and a dress shirt fit for any sophisticated occasion, of which he often attended. His hair was cut every other week by his decades-long friend and local barber, Richmond. Richmond came to his home for 5 p.m., arriving 5 to 10 minutes early to set up, steam his towel for after the shave, and greet dear William with the grandest smile and gleaming eyes. William paid him exaggeratedly and handsomely.
You're ruining the spookiness.
I'm sorry. Richmond was not really the best barber, but Richmond was not really the best barber. But William really made everyone seem their best as a light post embraces every ounce of light the dark makes possible. Okay. William made his way to the door at a temperate pace. He turned the brass knob. The enormous metal door opened, revealing Mona May in her white dress, revealing that god-awful hand, bone visible like a butt of chalk broken from falling to the classroom floor. She grinned hugely. Okay, wait, so
I'll cut this part out.
Yeah.
Because I want to be like, when you finish reading that light, you're like, tiny little like, killed me.
No, you can keep this. I was gonna say, so is she like, she just has like a little nub for one arm and her bone's sticking out? Is that what he's trying to
No,
protect?
she's carrying a
hand.
a severed hand.
But it's not her severed hands.
No, just like in one of her hands, she's
Okay.
holding another hand that got cut off and the bone's sticking out.
Okay.
All right. Hello, dear sister. What brings you here?
William asked evenly.
I wanted to see if you could come to the store. I don't have much food left at home, and I wanted to get some bread and butter and...
William cut her off with the backhand of his hands.
Oh, no.
William cut her off and half entered the house. Only Mona May made him feel like this, act like this. She was so oblivious that it scared him. William provided financially for the whole family, having made a wise investment in his early 20s and then being presumed the caretaker for the whole lot.
How's the garden?
William remembered to ask.
Oh, the birds love it, and I love the taste of herbs especially. I have a nice vine of tomatoes, and no animals have gotten that yet. Watch for coyotes. Can I walk with you to the store now if it's not too much trouble? I need to finish sealing these letters. I am a little behind on them. Oh, William, take your time. I can come back later.
I need to go return some videotapes. William went back into the house, having indicated 1 minute with his middle finger, and brought $100 in cash with his index finger, and brought $100 in cash to give to Mona May. Handed it in her in a neat metal clip.
Thanks,
she chimed.
Okay, now, get some bread, plenty of butter, fatten up, eh? And get some salad, too. You need to eat raw vegetables for your gut bacteria, you know. Watch for coyotes. Be really mindful of coyotes. Thank you, dear brother.
Mona May's tone and cadence had leveled out. She had crossed the rough sea and now there was endless horizon. When William licked the next envelope, he cut his tongue. The passage of time. The kitchen lay like a hollow, proud man, a stake intending to hold his back forever erect through old age and shame. Mahogany cabinets, lines falling and rising in organic patterns like wild horses, creating subtle paths in the sand and Assateague Islands. Ornate handles, liquor bottles, holding mixtures only a handful of tongues have tasted, the burn of which he liked on his cut tongue. He stood with a rocks glass in his hand, his wrist bent, making contact between glass and chest. The clink of the ice was the only thing to be heard, beside the blood traveling through his skull. Years ago, he didn't dream of having any material wealth, but like the things we despise, and in parentheses, desire, we end up with them. William was not any different from his plain white undershirts, but... Okay, I just had to read that sentence again. William was not any different from his plain white t-shirts, but his air was distinct. This is what makes a person. Their spirit holds faithfully to its fleshy wall, harmonizes, and then man understands in which ways he synthesizes God, and in which he defaults. Could you explain that to me?
Nope. I have no idea.
Okay. Tomorrow he'd meet with Mona May and their mother. Their mother would flap her head back and forth between the two of them like she'd met them for the first time. I read that like a fucking robot. Before saying what she thought she could, she resembled a widow spider and assumed its qualities despite or because of that. A widow spider, huh?
Creepy.
William shuffled through his mail to find the letter for the gathering. Their mother chose lavish spots, insisted they be closed to allow the three of them exclusively. A trinity. Okay. Of course, after stating William's name, the establishment abruptly called all of their reservations and insisted the parties come earlier, but that later they'd be closed for a special event. The address was centered in the middle of the card. It read 45 Wisconn Ave, Brighton Beach. At the bottom, she left a cryptic note that stated,
Do mind the steps when you enter. The owner casts an evil eye on everyone that enters. He's such a snoot. He casts a spell with his eyes and makes people trip up those catawampus steps.
William collected the papers he needed to take along with him to prepare for tomorrow and headed out the door. He would be back in time for Richmond's early arrival. And now the passage of time.
My, your hair is so slick. Did you just get it cut?
Their mother asked William the moment she laid eyes on him, walking toward their table. William helped himself to the satin cushion, debonair.
Yes, I get it cut every other Thursday evening, in fact. That is such a wise plan, William, to be neat for any Friday occasion.
He wished to return her level of admiration.
Hello, Mona May. Did you get the groceries you needed?
Yes, I got all except the potatoes to make those chips. It is always the item I don't usually get that I forget.
Well, let's get those potatoes after this, and I must say,
He turned to his mother.
that necklace is just lovely. Joyous? Joyous?
We don't know jewelry brands, if you couldn't tell.
Let us know in the comments.
She picked it up gingerly from her chest.
Oh, this? Coimbria? They make the floral pieces that make me feel like a Georgian when I put them on. Haha.
William looked at his mother and told her, "We hate Georgians." William took both of their faces and then, placing his portfolio on the table, said,
Let's get down to business.
They eyed him and nodded.
So, this is the first.
He placed a document with a letterhead on the table in front of their mother.
This one requires initials only.
She took the pen from William's offering hand.
And once I sign this, I can do with the estate as I please?
She knew the answer, but wished him to say it again as if to communicate with the paper itself his own signature.
Yes, that's right.
Their mother gave out a big sigh, but with her small size, it sounded only like a tiny puff, her body making a big effort. She appeared to be pleased, relieved. Mona May seemed to know nothing else but smiling. William wondered if she was seething at some plan under her innocent smile. The waiter made his way toward their table, a white cloth slung triumphantly over his arm, seeming to carry its own weight like a ghost. He paused to collect some dishes onto a tray, bringing them into his dining area hosting the maze. He placed the dishes as if baby birds in front of his three guests. The delicate chime of the cups against the saucers reminded Mona May of tea parties. Her grin seemed to increase the black void in between her teeth the longer she held it. She grabbed 2 rolls from the bread basket and scooped a heap of butter onto her plate. Their mother did nothing to persuade her not to consume so much saturated fat, which irked William so that his face grew hot.
William, dear, have some bread. It is fresh, I promise.
Later. Later.
Their salads topped with fine goat cheese and chill buckwheat pasta had arrived. Mona May twirled her fork heavy in her hand like a hairbrush. She shoveled the pasta into her young mouth, a handful of angelic hair. William now helped himself to the bread, preferring to have all of his food at once and be done so as to forget eating exists altogether. Their mother poured salt into the olive oil and dipped the rolls. William wondered if that was a good idea, a common thing to do, or something he would probably never try. I wonder if salt with olive oil does taste good. Now I'm curious. Now I'm thinking about that.
This bread is baked by Monsieur Beck, I understand.
Is that how you say that?
Monsignor?
I thought it was Monsieur.
Monsieur.
No
One of
idea.
them.
One of those.
Their mother said casually. It was as if she had forgotten who that was. William froze. His stomach turned to stone. Nothing could penetrate. Nothing in, nothing out. His mind was sent back to life before the disaster. He wanted to lunge at them now, as they enjoyed their bread with their salad. Wasn't that something he did and they bothered him for? He wanted to turn to stone, to be pulverized, evaporate, somehow hold his breath but not feel the pain of his lungs collapsing. He wished sometimes to give up Mona May to the clouds, the ground. He wished sometimes to give up Mona May to the clouds, the ground.
I don't know what that means either.
William was now standing involuntarily, straddling reality and what ought to be. His reason went somewhere unknown. He stood because he had to get it back. A lost coat with his identification card, his wristwatch, latexes, his purse, and the warmth and familiarity of home.
William, dear, what happened?
Their mom asked suddenly. She grabbed his hand dangling at his side, attempting to wake him from his fever dream.
I need to please be excused.
He left the room or levitated out. So did he leave the room or levitate out? Monsignor, I think it's Monsignor.
Monsignor. Okay.
We'll go with that.
Okay.
Monsignor Beck, Monsignor, whatever. Monsignor Beck worked within a mafia. They operated out of seamstresses, restaurants, bakeries, gas stations, zoos, and the national parks. They commanded the city. William May's assistant had gotten into a scuttle at one of the top bars in the city to be sent on a series of distracting errands to humiliate himself under the guise of partnership. After winning at shuffleboard against Monsignor Beck's right hand, we're gonna say that different every time that comes up.
Monsieur.
Monsieur Beck, right? It's not very helpful. Wait, do it again.
Wait,
Oh.
it just only does the
Monsieur.
it does the end.
Monsieur.
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 All right.
Monsieur Beck's right hand. All right, wait, where was I? I'll just restart the paragraph.
Oh, fuck.
Ah, damn it. William May's assistant had gotten into a scuttle at one of the bars in the city to be sent out on distracting errands to humiliate himself under the guise of partnership. After winning at shuffleboard against Monsieur Beck's right hand, it was then known who he was. A coyote was sent after him. Monsignor Beck eventually rumored that William had sacrificed his wife to save his sister, an argument that could not support any amount of water. But Monsignor Beck and his pups did not deal in neat glasses and rather in poisonous needles. News traveled fast in the city.
I think you just don't pronounce the N, like Monsieur.
Monsieur.
The N
Monsieur.
throws you for a loop.
It wasn't until the same year of the shuffleboard incident that Monsieur Beck and William came into contact. They were both in a dreamy cafe, enjoying bossa nova music. They paid and went down different directions on the same street they came, by chance to the same corner which was selling tobacco. They both stopped, began to perform the same ritual. They packed their pipes with tobacco, so fresh, a brownish red and moist. Then they took out coins from their purses and paid the salesman.
Thank you. All right, what type of voice should I do for Monsieur Beck? And then I'll just like overlay it.
You can make him. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was gonna say you could do him like super French.
Thank you. I can't do a French accent.
That's good. It's about. I believe.
Okay. Why? Do I know you? I'm afraid not.
Which was true, at least in person.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but I feel like I have met you. Maybe birds of the same feather.
He thought harder because his generic answer felt like it didn't cut it, but it lacked luster, effort.
Maybe we've run into each other at a party in the residential parts. I do feel I've seen you, appreciated your overcoat, dined with you, something of the sort.
William began to rub his beard.
Oh God, there's honestly, good sir. We seem to do exactly as the other. I am afraid we are simply different versions of one another. I do not think we know one another, but rather, we are one another.
Oh.
Fight Club.
William pretended like he knew what Monsieur Beck was telling him. William shook his head.
Pleased to meet you.
He outstretched his arm.
William May. Come again?
Monsieur Beck shuddered, nearing William's outstretched hand.
My name is William May. Mr. William May. You, sir, have a nasty bat of an assistant. I ordered him to run all the town on fool's errands. How dare you be so dignified? Excuse me,
William then understood.
Now, we may do the same things then. Oh, I'm not even doing the voice. Excuse me? Now, we may do the same things even every single day, but I assure you, we are not of the same feather, nor are we of the same material. Walk away now to your inkwell. I will send dogs after you.
Monsieur Beck turned violently, swinging his coattails. It was clear he had a plan of vengeance. William knew dogs meant coyotes. No one in Brighton commanded dogs. And the passage of time, once again.
Ellipsis.
William intended to leave them the house in the countryside. Both Mona May and their mother would live there with their elderly father. It helped the severance since whenever he thought of the round windows in the attic and in the little lounge in the master bedroom, he thought of that godforsaken wrist bone. Those twisting, turning sills akin to the twisting, turning stone of the bone. That cocaine white paint, ribs of wood poking through the skeleton under snow barnacle of his deceased wife. Plus, Mona would be better acquainted with the garden she so adored. She'd placed the hand down at the side of the bed of dirt, a perennial Halloween decoration, but actually her own guardian angel. It stunk like elephantias. Just gonna... How do I look it up? I'm just gonna put copy. Is a neglected tropical disease. Infection occurs when viralial parasites are transmitted to humans through mosquitoes. Wow. She just could not let go. Madeline saved her with her own body ravished by coyotes. Mona latched onto her hand, like a baby holds an adult finger, vowing in the strength of its grip not to let go. She just could not let go. Then at dusk, once the lingering filth in the air stopped being made beautiful in the sun, the coyotes came in great numbers to their porch. There, Madeline watched them all take huge shits right in front of their front door. There, Madeline stood in her robe of a toffee-colored silk, her strawberry blonde hair in a neat bun like a ballerina. Mona May playing with her paper dolls and ships. Madeline smiling maternally on this child. Their father sat nearby in a black metal chair, always cold to touch in the evenings, even in the summer. As the paper ship was held up to the golden back of the sun tucking itself into the green blanket for sleep, it seemed on fire. This reminded their father of the verse in the Bible, "I baptize you with water, but he who is mightier than I is coming, the strap of whose sandals I am not worthy to untie. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with fire." From his lips slightly parted, he mumbled only to himself.
He makes his messengers winds, his ministers a flaming fire.
Then he added, ad-lib.
Men often act like God. What the hell?
William had invited his assistant over for dinner at his estate. Mona May was out playing on the porch. The animal seemed a big dog. Then many appeared and pounced on her. They took the skin off everything they touched. They seemed to fold into her, like she was becoming a wolverine. As they struggled, it seemed they were attacking each other. She recovered a hand, though it was not attached to an arm anymore. It was not Mona May's, but William's, now deceased wife's. They had come in great numbers, ceasing to look like puppies, gathering close to the family on the porch. Their teeth were born, their fur jackets open to reveal their capacity in volume and in damage. As they closed, Madeline backed up against Mona, ushering her into the house via the front porch, or the porch door. There was not sufficient time to reach the door. The door was parted like their father's lips when he uttered that phrase, but not wide enough to allow entry. The toffee robe was torn, revealing pink. Madeline screamed like she had never before. Mona grabbed her hand, whose arm stretched across Mona May's back, covering her whole body like a shield. Madeline fell on top of Mona. The coyotes ate her. Enough time for Mona to escape through the thin slit of the porch door. She had never let go of Madeline's hand, and severed it came with her. Monsieur Beck's could not be seen, but there was a metaphor. William came to the door from the poker table with his assistant, hearing screaming and thrashing. It was too late. His wife was no longer. William dropped to his knees. The coyotes were gone. A river of blood passed through him, the only thing separating him from a lump of clay. He suddenly and unexpectedly felt she lived merely to spite Madeline, by extension, him.
So then that's that.
William returned, collecting the signed papers, having excused himself to the bathroom. He remained standing, not sure where he'd go next. Now the blood left his head, rushing somewhere, presumably down his feet, ready to move.
Did you happen to stumble on the stairs on the way in?
Their mother asked. She now looked so small sitting down while she stood.
No, Mother, actually.
He remembered her letter of invitation.
I noticed no evil man, nor did I even ascend stairs to my recollection when I entered. But how in the world did you get here then?
William wondered if he was missing something.
Because I am too.
The worry he felt when he let Monsieur Beck came back with him, wondering if this was a psychological trick.
Well, I came straight in. Anyways, I know you won't want to visit for a while, which is wholly understandable. Please consider joining us for your father's birthday in the fall. We are ordering a cake from Van Halen's. Jesus. Vanilla and cream.
I wonder where they got that. Mona May grinned at him. Monsieur Beck commanded this establishment, of course.
I don't like shortcake. It's not shortcake at all. The end.
The ends.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Something a little different.
I will say, I wish that the scary parts did go a bit more in detail. I feel like, from what the guy told us, this was it's a horror story, like a little horror short story, but I feel like, especially when you're writing, you got to be pretty descriptive when it comes to that horror shit.
It was
like not just not just saying it, you know?
barely horror.
Yeah. Well,
I still had fun kind of reading it.
yeah, I enjoyed reading it too. That was pretty fun.
Also go into the files to look at the art that I did
Oh,
for
that's
this.
right.
So I
yeah.
did some art, some AI generated art. That one is just going to be the first one is just two women in white dresses. I guess this was going to be the horizontal image for the thumbnail. And then this one I typed in like woman being mauled by coyotes in the style of Junji Ito.
Dude, the AI art's not bad, man.
So, and then there's another one with glasses. Maybe that one could be on the Instagram, and then
Yeah,
the second
true.
one will maybe be on for the YouTube. I don't know. Follow us on Instagram. Check out the YouTube version of this if you want to see the AI art we're talking about that is going to be associated with this.
Yeah.
Short story.
You could put them all on Instagram, actually.
That's a good idea.
Just be like, these is the AI stuff we generated for this short story. Anyways,
Yeah.
we hope you guys enjoyed listening. Be on the lookout for our Hellraiser episode.
Yeah, which will drop tomorrow.
All right. Bye now, everybody.
Bye-bye.